Hi Feltube, it's Jeannie again, and I am doing a quick video to document the beginning of starting a new Bucilla kit, a felt stocking. This one will be for my new granddaughter, and the last really 4 years I have either refurbished the stockings of my family, my children and my husband, and then 2 years ago I made one for my my step granddaughter, and then last year I made one for my son-in-law, and so this year I have a new grandbaby that was born in March, and I want to have a stocking ready for her by Christmas. And so these past several years I have started in July, kind of my Christmas in July, and then I have finished them by Christmas. So that is my plan for this little stocking, and I have decided on, I didn't buy anything new. I have a stash of Bucilla stocking kits, and I decided of all the ones I had, I liked this one for my new granddaughter. It's called Snowy Retreat, and this one actually, I haven't looked at the instructions yet, but it doesn't look terrible. And by terrible I mean these have varying degrees of complexity, and I started out with a really simple one. I actually made one for the year before that. I made one for my cats. So and they have different, like I said, different number of steps, different levels of complexity. This one doesn't look like it's going to have too many steps, although I haven't taken the instructions out, so maybe we'll do that together today. But if you've never done a Bucilla stocking, you guys, these are so much fun, and they it's actually felt applique, and the felt is stamped, and it is, and well, let's just take it out and I will show you. So this is what the kit looks like when it comes. I did cut it open because I'm getting ready to start it. You always want to keep the cover photo because sometimes you use it. I always use it a lot for reference. And then it has a piece of cardboard in here, and some of the designs do require cardboard. I don't know if this one does yet. I'm wondering if maybe the little deer legs will need cardboard. I'm not sure, but I always keep that too. And then let me go ahead and pull this out and just show you what's in here. So you get your instructions, and like I said, I haven't looked at this yet, but let's look and see how many steps it has. So this is the instructions. It is front and back, and so it has the written instructions on this side, and then the key for what type of stitch you use is on the other side, and then there's also a little alphabet that you actually need to increase on a printer if you want to use that particular font. But let's see here, and of course I didn't put my reading glasses on, but it looks like there are 63 steps in this, so that's really not bad. Probably the most complicated one I've done had about 120 steps, so about twice as many. But you can see you get your key up here, how to get started, and then it will step by step tell you how to go through all the different steps. And mostly I adhere to this. Once you've done these a few times, you can kind of jump ahead or move things around. I would recommend, though, if this is your first time ever doing a Bucilla felt applique kit, just follow the steps, and then you'll sort of see, you kind of get a feel for how they work, and then sometimes you can take some creative liberty. I've done that in mine where I've added things or taken things away, and then also you'll be able to tell whether or not you can sort of move the steps around and not really mess up your design. But I would recommend just going through each one. And like I predicted, this one doesn't look like it has too many steps. So yeah, so I've got that there, and then I'll just show you quickly what's in the package. You do get your thread that you have to sort. Let me open this up so you can see. So you get your thread that you have to sort, and I won't know how many colors on here yet, but you've got that. And then the needles should be in here as well. Let me make sure I don't drop those because I have cats who like to eat needles. So, so here are the needles. And then here are, it looks like this has some snowflake sequins. I'm sorry, my gardener just got here and he's blowing out there. So, and then it has all the sequin colors that are required and the beads. So not very many in this one. So I'm not sure why we got this one with some little white ones. I'm not really sure, but anyway, so this is the clear beads, the red beads. You always use red beads with the red sequins. And then here is the little sequin pack for when you're ready to do your beading and sequencing. Again, here is the thread, the floss, not too much of this either, which I wouldn't expect from such a small kit. But here is what it looks like, and I will be separating this out for as I'm getting ready to do the kit. Now let me show you the felt. As you can see, the felt is stamped. Okay, so it numbered, so it tells you these are probably the little deer hooves, but you can see it's stamped on there, so you know the number of each piece because all the pieces are numbered, and then you have the lines to cut it out, and you always want to cut out just inside the line if you can, so you don't have the printing on your finished product. So here's that little cabin piece, and we'll attach some things to it, as you can see. Oh, this is the front. This must be the front of the stocking. Oh, and this looks like it's a stocking that you have to sew together. I haven't done one of these before, but you can see there's the toe of the stocking. Is this light blue. You can see the river there. That little deer will go here, and those bunnies will go down here. And then this must be the top. Yep, there's the top of the stocking. Okay, so this one will need to be appliqued together, which is fine. That won't be hard to do. And then we've got, of course, all the green elements, the gray elements. So there's those bunnies and the deer and so forth. And then the white. Usually there's a white, the back of the stocking is white. So that's what there is. And then any other white elements like the snow will be on there as well. Now, I like to do a lining on my stockings. So usually what I do is I will use the back that comes with the kit as the lining to just cover up all of the stitches. There's my kitty. To cover up all of the stitches, and then because your stitching is exposed on the inside of the stocking if you don't line it, and things can get caught on it, you know, and that sort of thing. So I will put that, I will probably sew the white backing as the lining and just sew it completely on. And then I usually buy a little bit more heavy duty, here's Kitty. I usually buy more heavy duty felt for the backing. And so that's what I'll go ahead and do with this one. I might use a light gray or a blue. I'll see what I can find. But anyway, so that is the contents of the kit if you've never done one of these before. And let me see if I can move Pistachio here. And then I just wanted to show you a few other things. Kitty, can I get some of this stuff? Here, jump down. Jump down. Thank you. I usually will use one of these zipper pouches to put everything in. Again, you may not need to do this. I need to do it because, like I said, I have cats that like to eat sequins and that sort of thing. So I will just go ahead and put everything in this folder, or this little zipper pouch, or little project bag, if you will. And I like these ones that are big. This one's like, I think this one's like 16 by 12 or something like that. I don't have the exact measures, but so I'll just throw everything in there so I keep everything together. Okay, so I like a project bag for this. You will also need some of the poly fiber fill. I just got this at Joann's, and you guys, you can see I've made, and my cat's ripped open both ends, but you can, they love plastic too, but you can see I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 stockings with this, and I've barely even made a dent in it. So one of these bags, and you can get them on Amazon too, will go, this is a 12-ounce bag, but it will go a long way. It's probably like a lifetime supply. Then you're also going to want a pair of, I like a pair of large scissors these are dedicated to fabric for me, so I don't cut paper with them. So a pair of fabric scissors that are large, and then I also like, as you saw, some of those pieces were really tiny, and so I like a pair of detailed scissors too, with a detailed tip, that are also dedicated to fabric. Okay, so they don't get dulled down by paper, but sometimes it's nice to get in the little, those little tiny pieces with some more detailed scissors. And then last time I did one of these stockings, I used floss drops to sort the thread on, and it did get the thread lengths are pretty long. I think they're a yard. And so, and a lot of times with the applique, you only use one. I always double it for sequins. It doesn't say that in the instructions, but I want my sequins to be really secure. And then, like I said, I used floss drops the last time. This time I think I'm going to go ahead and use bobbins. And so I've thrown a few just floss bobbins in here. I may put them on a ring, but I'm hoping it'll keep things neater if I have the floss wound around bobbins instead of on floss drops. So anyway, and then the last thing, you guys, I really like to use, this is a paint project tray. This is from the Dollar Tree, and these should be out now if they're carrying them again this year. I got them a few years ago, but it was around back to school time, and I really love this for kind of a working little way to close off what I'm working if I don't want to clean everything up and put it back in the bag. This is nice and flat, as you can see, but it's, like I said, it's a paint tray. So you're supposed to, the idea here is you got these little wells. Hopefully you guys can see that. There's little paint wells, a place for your paintbrush, and then there's this shallow opening that if you have a painting project, it can sit in here and maybe dry, and you can put the lid on it. You guys, I love these trays for beading because you can put each of your sequins and your beads in each one of these little paint wells. You can put your needles down in here. These little scissors also fit in here flat. The bobbin should fit in here flat and be able to close it. And then any little pieces that you're working on will also fit flat in here, so you can just close it up. And now, the thing about this tray is these little paint wells don't seal. So if you have this full of beads and sequins, if you tip it like this, they're gonna spill. And because it's not a tight seal on that. So you have to, if you've got something in progress, you just want to make sure that you're carrying it around flat. But I really love this. And if you're like me and you have animals that are into all your stuff when you're doing projects, this has worked out really, really well for me. So yeah, I love these. I used it on the stocking I did for my son-in-law last year, and it just worked out great because you can, like I said, you can separate the colors of the sequins in here and the beads, and then kind of as you're working, you can just kind of scoop up those beads with the needle. There's a beading needle and an embroidery needle in here in the kit. And so, but these, even with the floss around them, should lay flat in here as well. And so I do love this. I've just found it to be really helpful. So if you find these at the Dollar Tree and you like to do applique, I would recommend getting that. So anyway, so that is, those are all the supplies that I use. I'm going to go ahead and get this kit set up, and then I will be back. I don't have very much, I don't edit, you guys, so I don't have very much luck doing process videos. Oh, kitty. I was trying to eat my fluff. I don't have very good luck doing process videos, but I will be back at interval to show you where I am. So yeah, so I'm going to get started on this week. I'm getting a little bit of a later start. Usually I like to start at the beginning of July, but we have just had the busiest July with, we've had a ton of company since like the middle of June. So I haven't had a chance to get started on it, but I'm gonna get it all set up and get to working on it this week. So I'll probably be back. I might try to do like a weekly, depending on how much I get done. I might try to do a weekly. No kidding. He likes to eat the fluff too. I have a weird cat, you guys, that like to eat things that are not food. So they like tape, they like needles, they like this fluffy stuff, thread, you know, plastic, all that stuff. So, but anyway, so I'm going to get to working on this, and I will give you updates at interval on how it's coming. So anyway, some Feltubers I recommend. Christine at Calico Whimsy. She's a really fun one to watch. She does a lot of really fun felt projects. Jennifer Good is another one that I've gotten a lot of great tips and tricks from her. And I'll put them in the description box. And then there's one more, and I can't think of her name. I think it's Little Bear Stitchery or whatever, but I will put her name in too, because she does really good process videos on how to do these stockings and these felt projects. So anyway, shout out to those gals. I've used your videos a lot to learn things about putting these stockings together, and you guys, they are a ton of fun. So anyway, if you like to craft, you like to sew, you like to stitch, you would probably like these. So anyway, I hope you're having a great day. I'll be back soon. I need to do, I owe you all a Feltube video, and then also I've got a paper crafting video to upload as well. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.